you will get where you want to go so much faster in being able to leverage other people's experiences, other people's network. And so take the time to really be intentional about networking. There's so many strategies out there. Hi there, it's Kelly Resendez. Glad you have found my YouTube channel. So we're going to talk about networking strategically today. So when you think about your life, and think about all of the things that you want to accomplish in your life, maybe your goals, your vision for how you want to feel. It is so important that we see the value in networking. And so I'm sure you've heard this term, proximity is power. I can tell you in my own life that this is taking it to the next level. So I'm going to give you a little bit about my journey. I was super successful in mortgage in the first season of my life. I networked really well then. Couple things that I did different than most people is when I went into a networking opportunity, whether it was a realtor event or just some sort of networking event, I actually had a strategy. I call it a 5-3-1. And the reason why I ran a strategy is because what I found is that people go to events all the time and then they don't really follow through. And so I set the intention that I wanted to have 5 meaningful conversations where I really connected with 5 people at a more meaningful level. And then I always set the intention that I wanted to do follow-up meetings with 3 of them. And so I would decide what 3 of those 5 people I thought were best. And then I always wanted to find a way to really do business with one of them. Maybe I would be their mortgage lender of choice, or maybe they would be a client, whatever it was. And so I actually had an intention when I went into everything, and this served me very well. Now, it was a little bit more on the transactional side. I had relationships, but at the same time, it was one of those things that did really well for me. I always wanted to help other people too. And so I am a business strategist. I help a lot of other businesses kind of scale and grow in my life, just kind of on the side as an advisor and as a mentor. But it was something that I just tried to offer as I would have conversations with people, because I think you can relate that a lot of times we get tips from people that can just change our life. So as I navigated that season of my life in being in sales, again, I networked very strategically. But getting into this next season of my life, I didn't realize what networking strategically would really do for my soul. And so in the early parts of my career, I would say that the following things resonated. I was a lone wolf. It was lonely at the top. I was typically in my groups, one of the more successful people financially, or just from a success standpoint. And I didn't have people that I could actually share with or get feedback from. And so what I did, I made most all of my decisions on my own. I just kind of did my own thing. I would search out information on my own, and it was rough, right? Back then, some of you probably don't remember the days where we had to go to events to get a lot more information, where today you can find everything that you could ever imagine in ChatGPT or with Mr. Google, right? And so I really just was still lonely. And so what I didn't realize that networking would really take my life to was a place of abundance of connections. And that's where GoBundance Women really came in, is I had just finished writing my last book, Big Voices, which you can find on Amazon. Would love for you to check it out. And basically, I was sharing with somebody at a networking event that it was really challenging to meet women that had ambitious of goals like me. And they had told me about a group, GoBundance. It was GoBundance Men, and that they were maybe looking to start a women's division. And so I started networking, and I was able to connect with the ownership team there. And here we are, 6 years later, we have a thriving mastermind community of ambitious female leaders, business owners, and investors that are supporting one another. And so what did that networking really teach me? It taught me that I had to be open to really receiving support. I didn't have a board of advisors before in my life, so I made decisions on my own which that meant if I made the decision on my own, guess who I was blaming if I didn't make a solid one. And now I have this board of advisors that truly elevates the way that I make decisions. They make connections. I met my business partner and co-founder of Minerva, the women's femtech company that I'm president of now, through GoBundance Women. And so I believe wholeheartedly that one of the reasons why women's leadership numbers are as low as they are, so let's just recap what those are. Only about 10.5% of C-suite executives are female. Only about 2.5% of venture capital is going to female founders, is because we missed the boat on networking. Now, we're great. Women are great at connecting, but we're not great at asking for help. And we're not great at sharing with somebody else what our big vision and goals are for our life. So you've got to be intentional about this when you network. You always want to share what your purpose is. You always want to share your big, audacious goals because you never know what's going to happen. So take, for example, I just got off a call with a woman that was basically buying an apartment complex. And I'm like, is this your first one? And she said, yeah. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to connect you with my business partner, Manny McAllister. She's an expert in multifamily. That networking could change her life. But we've got to put ourselves out there to be able to be open to receive the feedback and the wisdom from other people. And you will get where you want to go so much faster in being able to leverage other people's experiences, other people's network. And so take the time to really be intentional about networking. There's so many strategies out there from, my friend Michelle Bierman, who just wrote the book, The Black Line, talks about how you should make one connection a day personally and what those connections might do for you. There's other strategies that you can do where you reach out to multiple people, but just really having conversations with more and more people about what they're up to and what you're up to, and find out who do they know that you should know and vice versa. Because I can tell you that getting where you want to go on your own is possible. But networking strategically and really being thoughtful about asking for help and sharing your vision of what you're trying to accomplish and just getting feedback. Do they know anybody that's going to support you? I know with Minerva, we want to revolutionize women's healthcare. We want to reach millions of women. Well, the only way we're going to do that is through networking conversations to reach those investors. In GoBundance Women, it's networking with more ambitious female leaders that want to scale without sacrifice. So determine what it is in your life that you're really working on and get out there and make more connections. Whether you use the 5-3-1, when you go to an event, you leverage social media, you've got to get out there, because I can tell you the C-suite roles aren't being filled through online job searches. You can apply your heart out. It's who you know. That power of proximity is going to shift everything. And you might be one conversation away from having your dream job, from launching your dream company, from finding a partner, being open with other people. You could be networking for that too, or networking to be able to get support for your kids or whatever it might be. But I can tell you right now, you are not going to regret it. So I wish you tons of luck. Post a comment below. What do you need? What's a resource or connection that will change the ballgame for you? And I'm going to set my intention that I'm going to try to support you on this networking journey too. So look forward to you sharing this episode. Make sure you subscribe, and we will see you on the next episode.